Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Humpday.
Woohoo is right. It's Humpday.
It is. It's Wednesday in Stewart.
In Stewart. But it's not Wednesday in other places. Well, if you're in Australia, it's Thursday already, so, you know, we can say that.
How's it going, everybody?
You are number 5. All right. It's good.
Going well. How about you guys?
Better once I turn on your microphone.
Is that better now?
Yeah.
Am I live now, Frank?
You are live and in color.
I am live.
Woo-hoo.
And on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I
Woo.
got my first T-shirt.
Yeah,
Excited to be here.
like
So
that,
again, I
boy.
guess we got to introduce.
Okay, good. You kind of cleaned up for tonight.
I did.
noticed.
Look, I'm doing good.
Got a haircut.
I did. I'm clean.
That one hair right there on the back
I
side.
might have missed one, but I keep trying. Got a few stragglers back there.
Oh my goodness. Oh, what fun. What fun we have.
God.
It is. Oh no, my Facebook Live is down
Oh no.
Don't you hate when that
due
happens?
to poor wireless connection. But that's okay.
I hate when
People
that
really
happens.
understand. I know. We gotta kind of do this again. But anyway, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you
Glad
guys.
to be here.
There was some golf this weekend.
There was some
the golf world was buzzing this
serious
weekend.
Golf this weekend.
Did you know that Sunday's final round of the Valspar Championship over on the West Coast in Palm Harbor on the other side of Tampa Bay at Innisbrook Country Club, and I've been there a few times. Beautiful place. That's a fun place to go. It's really neat over there. It doesn't feel like Florida because of all the hills, but Sunday's NBC's coverage on Sunday had the highest rating of a non-Masters round in like the last 5 years.
Guess why?
I wonder why.
The whole world is abuzz. James, what happened on Sunday? What could have caused that incredible spike in viewership?
We had a really crowded leaderboard.
A crowded leaderboard.
I mean, there were what, 7, 8 guys either tied for the lead or within a shot or so of the lead. I mean, it got bunched up. I mean, it wound up being any one of about 6 or 8 guys could have won this event.
Okay.
And, came down to a few shots on Sunday. Patrick Reed, who I was pulling for in this event, kind of botched up the 18th green. He hit a not so good second shot into 18 while he was tied for the lead and chose very poorly on his third shot. Decided to putt it through some of the fringe and up the hill to the hole, and it didn't quite get there, and it rolled all the way back to where he was to start with.
Bad decision, but that's how golf goes.
Yeah, that's how golf goes sometimes. And then there was a guy dressed very much like Patrick Reed, red shirt, black pants. You may have heard of him, a guy named Tiger Woods.
Hey, I heard about that guy.
You heard about that? If you haven't heard about him, you obviously have not either looked at any golf website or followed any golf websites or seen any of the Golf Channel, because
the world shut down Sunday.
Basically, everybody shut down to watch Tiger.
Tiger Woods was in contention, and the world shut down. And I did wear my red shirt today.
I noticed that
in honor of Tiger's red. And
there you go.
And
I wore my Ricky Fowler orange.
It's a good contrast. But it was very good for golf. Like we talk about it all the time. The Tiger effect is just something that's undescribable, and it's always good for golf. And you know what? It's so funny because sure enough, even at my indoor studio, Saturday, I mean, I must have had half a dozen people say, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think he can? What it is?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, yeah. It's Tiger Woods 2.0, right? it's Tiger Woods. He's more mature. He's not swinging as hard. He's getting comfortable with playing tournament golf again.
The one thing I noticed that impressed me watching him, besides the fact that he was swinging very well, but everybody says the biggest thing in golf is the mental game. This game is 90% mental, just knowing how to manage your way around the golf course, figure things out. And Innisbrook is a very narrow, tight golf course. A lot of big old trees all over the place. And Tiger chose to lay back on a lot of off the tee a lot. He hit irons off the tee. He hit fairway woods off the tee.
I'll tell some great
specifically because he can't hit his driver in the fairway, it seems. And because of that, he was playing smart, which is good to see. I mean, for anyone to watch how smart he played the game.
So on Sunday, or maybe it was Monday. So Monday I pulled up a hole by hole breakdown of Tiger's game, like what he hit off of each tee, where it put him. And you're right, he laid back a lot. But you know what was really fascinating, and I was telling some people about it today. I mean, he's hitting 2-iron 270 yards, though. I mean, he's whipping stuff into play. And I don't know if it's a driving iron or whatever it is. Maybe it's
whatever it is,
But, at his level and their level, that, like you said, that course that's not a just grip it and rip it, let it go course.
No, that's not a Dustin Johnson, John Daly type golf course.
Look at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And look at
guys that hit irons well.
The guys who put it in position, right?
Yeah.
And Tiger had a ton of 2-iron approaches. I mean, I'm sorry, a ton of 200-yard approaches. Where he's like you said, he laid back.
Yeah, I mean, even on the 18th hole, where a lot of guys were hitting, short irons into that green because it's not a very long hole. He was 185 yards out after his tee shot. I mean, he hit his tee shot, and you watched it and you looked, and I'm going, that thing only was like 20 yards into the fairway cut. I mean, he almost didn't hit it far enough to get to the short grass of the fairway.
And this is the part that's scary. So, again, that event, we got a special caller coming in. That event was
it's Frank's bookie.
A good showing.
He had Tiger in the top 3, and
Tiger's
he's
probably
collecting now.
And he flew back. But the point that we were getting at is that he played smart. He laid back. He hit a lot of good shots. If you notice, the courses were hard because you normally don't see PGA Tour events where 9 under, 10 under
wins an event. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there wasn't any crazy numbers, right? Now here's the part where it gets exciting. He could win this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
he's won 8 times at Bay Hill.
Well, anytime
he knows this golf course.
Anytime you go into a golf course, right? And I've played Bay Hill. You've been there. We've been there. I've been to events.
Yep.
Now that's much more wide open than Innisbrook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some holes you got to hit in places, but Bay Hill's pretty generous, right?
Yes, it is.
So you're going to see, Tiger come out there sharp. His obviously his irons are sharp. Mm-hmm. He didn't flinch once. He didn't have any of those grimacing looks or ouch or none of that stuff. It looked effortless again. He played within himself. He makes that bomb on 17, which just, I don't know how you do that as many times as he has.
When that putt went in, I just looked around the room and I went, you know what? He sucks all the luck out of the world.
Oh, he
really does sometimes. I mean, they showed the statistic that from that distance, PGA Tour guys only make that putt about 4% of the time.
Oh, is it even that high?
And that thing was center cut.
I mean, 40 feet,
44 feet, 45 feet,
something, So, but I believe that Tiger Woods is really good for golf. Always has been. I like what he's doing now. I hope that the Tiger Woods 2.0 is really going to be genuine and really kind of be, for the people and be generous and all that stuff because it's good for golf. The whole experience of golf was built, the whole growth of golf, the excitement of golf was built around him, and not having him, in contention hurt the game. And I think it'll be a great story. I mean, if he comes back and wins a couple, and what he was 100 and I saw 53rd or 150 on the top world list now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How does Tiger Woods not?
How's there not 150? Are there really 150 guys better than him?
No, but it's just that's where he's at.
Yeah, that's where his ranking is. Yeah.
And we talked about it. I think a week ago, the rough time he had at Riviera. I think in Riviera, Tiger went after it a little too hard. I think he kind of started to rip at it a little bit, and it hurt him.
Yeah.
And I think you saw Honda, he did a good job moving it around, and he did a great job. And now we're just going to see Bay Hill should be a really good tournament for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good tournament.
It's like you said, it's a little more open. It's a place he's definitely comfortable with.
But being more open is probably going to bring lower scores into play too.
Yeah,
but
he's got to make more putts.
But it's a place that he knows very, very well.
And other than that putt on 17, I thought he struggled a little bit on the greens because that in coming down the stretch,
right?
I don't think he hit the ball real close at all. No, the closing 4, 5, 6 holes. He left himself not really what you would consider makeable putts.
He
didn't have a real good look at birdie most of the back nine.
No, he was definitely. That's why he shot 70, and I think that's his game plan because he knew that the guys. If you tried to attack that course on Sunday and hit driver and attack it, it bites back. The bite's pretty hard.
Yeah,
so I think he was smart. But if you watch his round. If you look, I don't have it in front of me, but I wish I did. But I don't think he had more than 4 or 5 putts all day inside what we would say, inside 20. You know, I mean, he had some on the par 5s where he made a couple, but he had a lot of putts that he was just kind of because he's hitting, 185, 200 yards.
Yeah,
and he's still hitting 7-iron and 6-iron. It's not like he's hitting 4-iron.
Yeah,
so he, 6-iron is 200-yard club.
Yeah,
that's impressive in itself, right?
Yeah,
but this is a great. For the people that listen, the people we talk about, all people, work with, coach, and all that stuff.
And people that are young that can't remember what his game looked like 15 years ago.
But the point I was getting at is that, even though he's hitting 7 at 185 to 200 or whatever it is, it's still hard to hit that close.
Oh, yeah.
And if the best, those of you that are listening to play golf, I always say your expectations are sometimes too high for where you are as players.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the best players in the world and watch what they do, and it's tough. It's tough. But, man, what a very, very interesting dynamic, right? So Tiger almost wins, right? Monday, Tuesday. I mean, it is just Tiger mania.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're sitting here Wednesday going, you know what? If I had time, I would go to Bay Hill just to watch. I'm almost like I just want to go to Bay Hill and plant myself under a tree someplace on one of those holes where there's a big bend.
Yeah.
And I just want to watch him come through.
You can feel it in the air.
So what was the ratings again? How high was it?
From what I saw, it was the highest rated PGA Tour. It was. I guess the viewer numbers and everything else were higher than any non-Masters round like in the last 5 years or so.
The highest.
I mean, and that includes the Open Championship, the U.S. Open, the PGA, all the other majors, the TPC, the Player Championship, and all that. And it was a little event in Tampa, the Valspar, which most people couldn't even tell you where the heck it is. Where it was played, much less everything else about it.
It's been there a couple years. That's
yeah, it's been there a little while. I mean, it was the Transitions event when it was sponsored by the eyeglass company.
Well, and that's a tournament. This is a tournament that the one of the players that coach at Pine School, right? His son played, and his dad owns tour events, and this is the one that he bought. It's his only PGA Tour event.
Okay.
So I know it's one run very well, and I think over the last couple of years, you see how the tournament has grown.
Oh yeah,
it's gotten better and stronger.
Yeah.
So
they set attendance records this year, which is
right.
Obviously part of that is because of Tiger, and there's probably a lot of people that went over the weekend that weren't planning on going.
Well, Tiger shows up. It changes the dynamic of the event. But I do have to say shout out to one of my players, Jack Stubblefield, is watching. Jack's one of my all-time favorite high school players. Good basketball player too.
Oh, cool. That's probably why he's got that dual threat. He plays basketball and golf, which was you. I mean, you were the basketball and the golfer.
Jack's out watching. Good to see him out there. Got some friends from Hawaii watching. Patty Franklin.
Woohoo!
I see Russell. That's my
cousin's in Hawaii.
Husband. Yeah,
what are they doing inside watching you? They should be outside enjoying the beautiful weather they probably get in Hawaii.
Yeah, I sent out some invites for our show, trying to grow this every week.
Now Hawaii doesn't have they don't move the clock around, do they? In Hawaii,
no such thing.
So they're 6 hours behind us now.
Yeah, I always have.
So you're right. It's lunchtime.
Yeah, so I always have to call my. Every time we go through daylight savings, I got to make sure that because I talk to my dad really early because I call him like he'll call me like 6 o'clock in the morning. But if I call him at 12, it's either 6. But if I call him 11, it might be 5 if I don't know what time of the year. So I always have to try to calculate that thing backwards.
Got to remember it.
Yeah. You think my parents would once in a while ever watch the Facebook Live or tune into this stuff? But I just can't quite figure out how to turn it on. So I know it's kind of sad. But so anyway, so next week, right? Starting tomorrow, it's going to be kind of cool.
it could be real interesting.
So he's probably going to play next week, take a break.
Yeah, because this will be 3 weeks in a row that he's played.
That's a lot.
And that's a lot for him.
It is.
That's that's out of the norm for what he normally does.
And then what do we get to do?
And then we have Easter week, which is Masters week. So
it's going to be just unbelievable.
It's going to be fun. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be real interesting to see.
We got to get some tickets. We should
how
go.
things go.
Come on.
You just want to go to the Masters? We'll just pack up. We'll just run up there and go.
I know I could figure that out if we had to, but man, imagine getting there to see that.
Yeah. I can get in on Wednesday, being a member of the Golf Writers Association, but
you can go
that's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I could watch the par 3 turn.
Yeah. No. I want to see Tiger. So what kind of crowd do you think they're going to have at Bay Hill? If the ratings were that good.
Oh wow.
Bay Hill's got more established, not that bigger market in Tampa, but more golf.
Oh yeah.
Golf Channel's there.
Oh yeah.
People can. So that thing's going to have. I would say.
And you got all the people that. Okay, you go to Tampa. You're a golf fan, and you go to Tampa. What's your family going to do if they don't even care about golf? What are they going to do while you go to the golf tournament? Whereas in Orlando, there's a lot of stuff for people in your family that don't care about golf to go do while you go roam around Bay Hill all day long. So there's a lot to keep everybody else busy.
I can't wait.
So I think the viewer numbers and I think the crowd itself at the tournament's going to be really high.
Oh, it's got to be. It's going to be through the roof because it's just jumping right now.
Yeah, and especially if you throw him somewhere close to the front page of the leaderboard early in the tournament, then yeah.
So this is what I'm going to make a prediction. So here's Tiger. This is how it's going to pan out.
Okay.
I think Tiger's going to come out good on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind of in the mix on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think he's going to have a big Saturday.
Oh yeah.
I do, and I think it's going to be like a lights out major type environment. I think he'll be in the stretch again, but I think he'll have that. You always have to have one flat day. It's really tough to go
4 days in a row, especially on a golf course that's set up in tour conditions, which
right. And Bay Hill's so different. You've played it without all the stuff. I actually got to play it, I think, once, maybe twice. I played it once, and a really good friend of mine, we played it right before the event when all the grandstands, everything was built, which is really cool to go feel. That, it's a lot different when everything's built up.
Oh yeah.
And you feel like every green you're in a stadium. And it feels, even though there's no people there, it just feels way different.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great for golf. It's just got to be good for everything.
Oh yeah. I used to play it the weekend after the Bay Hill, after the tournament was over.
When the stands were still up?
When the stand, they were
pretty cool,
or while you were playing, they were taking them down.
Right. Like, boom.
Yeah, you hear them dropping platforms and
right.
and dropping metal pieces around. It's like, hey, I'm trying to putt over here. Yeah, whatever.
I'm so curious next week to see what the stats are going to be like. To see from the event and how many people show up in that. Ready to take a break, Frank? Gonna pay some bills?
Let's take a break.
All right.
Pay a couple bills. 220-9788 if you want to join us. Give us a call.
Yeah, if you're listening.
Let us know what you thought of this past week. In fact, when we get back, we'll tell you who won in case you weren't paying any attention.
And it's 772-220-9788.
Yeah. That's us.
All right, give us a call. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah. And we're back.
We are back.
Humpday.
Kind of winding up our finishing. Still talking about Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Tiger Woods and the Valspar Championship played over in Palm Harbor, Florida, over on the West Coast. The event was actually won by Paul Casey,
right?
Who has not won on the PGA Tour in, 7 years or so?
Another great swing.
A guy that swings well, hits the ball pretty solid, but just couldn't quite put it all together in a week. Put it together this past week.
Well, and that goes. We talk about this all the time too. And people who follow the show, they'll hear me say, it's really, in my opinion, it's very tough for the PGA Tour players of today, right?
Yeah.
To be able to keep their focus and just having that grind, that grit, that desire to win, because Paul Casey, you start winning, start making a couple $1 million, you sign some big endorsements, you play in a couple Ryder Cups, all of a sudden, you don't have to go struggle. There's no struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You got $10 million in the bank, you have a nice house, now you have kids. I don't even know Paul Casey's story, but I bet you his kids are 5 and 6 year old. During that 7-year break, I bet you there's 2 kids.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's very common, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing's going to happen to the Justin Thomases and the Jordan Spieths and those guys. You make all this money, and then now you start. Now you got to balance your life. I got to balance my home life. I got to balance my kids' life. Tiger went through it, but Tiger was the one that he kept his foot on the pedal, right?
Oh yeah.
But again, we know how that kind of ended up. So hopefully it doesn't happen to other people. But so we were talking on the break, which I think people listening will be fascinated with. So you said that Tiger Woods was swinging. He is the fastest swing.
He had the fastest recorded swing speed on tour this past weekend.
At the event. Oh, do you know what that was? 125?
It was 129 point something.
129. So somebody,
which is insane.
So they had him at 129, like as he was playing, like one of those, one of the trackers, right?
Yep.
Picked him up at 129.
Yep. That wasn't on the range before. That was in round.
So then that brings up what, we said, how do you go from
barely being able to walk,
couldn't
get out of bed, 8-10 months ago.
And how many surgeries?
4.
A lot, right?
Yeah. 2 knee surgeries, 2 back surgeries. Yeah.
So now, and
especially the back surgery. I mean, he had fusion surgery on his spine.
So here's what I think, right? I mean, obviously Tiger has access to, the best care in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best trainers, best supplements, best whatever, right?
Yep.
Now, it's not unusual for elite athletes, especially later in their career, to find things that they can do to help their body that are legal things.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hint here that Tiger is doing illegal things. Okay, but I remember when Kobe Bryant looked like he had nothing left, and all of a sudden he came back with knees that were great. Dwayne Wade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Terrible knees. Now all of a sudden, he's back. He looks springy. Like he looks like they rolled the clock back 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning, right? All the neck surgeries and had that huge year, right? It would look like he could never play. So here's what I think's going on. I think that the athletes of today, and I know this is happening, but the ability to heal your body with stem cells is and I'm not saying I know this. I'm just saying that, especially when it comes to Tiger, but that's happening right now. And I know because I even had a friend of mine who his sons, and I'm not going to mention names but his sons at a major college had a high ankle sprain, right, in football.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled blood out of his shoulder, right, and put it in his knee and put it in his ankle.
Okay.
And that's how, I don't know if you know, but that's how stem cells are done now. They pull blood out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
They have a way of separating the stem cells from your blood, and then they re-inject that stem cell, your own stem cells, back in areas that are hurt. And the stem cells are pretty much like little contractors, and they go in and they repair cells and they repair damage, and they really, it really does happen. And this was actually started Europe started doing it first, of course, right?
Yeah.
And now it's becoming more and more prevalent here. And the only reason why I talk like I know a lot about it is I worked on a project. I did a pain reliever project with Nick Price.
Okay,
and
yeah, I remember Nick.
Remember that
yep.
pain?
Yep,
the
I
pain
remember
away?
that, yeah.
And The company that did the pain reliever product had been stem cell research for animals. They were the world's largest stem cell research, and their number one clients were Middle Eastern sheiks that raised camels for racing.
Okay.
And the camels cost millions and millions and millions.
More than a thoroughbred horse.
Oh, it's more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the camels have their own stem cell machines and their own private and it's like ridiculous. And they used to tell me these stories. And they said within the next decade, stem cells, because stem cells came out and it was very controversial because they were taking it from human embryos. That was the whole discussion. And that, of course, developed all the controversy of it. But the idea of taking your own stem cells, right, which is not, there's no debate on that part of it.
It's my own body. I'm taking a part of my own body and helping another part of my body. Yeah.
But they said, this is their words, they said that in the future, stem cells are going to change the way medicine works. And again, I can't comment more than, what we're talking about because I'm not an expert, but it's funny. You think of like Star Trek.
Yeah.
You think of like, how they used to lie on the thing and they used to scan your body and what's going on. They'd fix you with some kind of, but think about it. In the future, stem cells could go in and repair stuff. I mean, it can repair organs. It can repair joints. It can repair stuff that just breaks down, and it's in us, right? So I think that's what happens. I think someone like Tiger, who obviously, balances his blood and gets everything working the way he can and uses stem cells to regenerate aching discs and knees and look at him.
It makes sense.
Because you don't see 40-year-olds all of a sudden turn around and swing.
42-year-olds that are suddenly looking like they're 22.
Right,
yeah.
right. And again, I don't think it's cheap, so that's why none of us are standing in line at Publix pharmacy to get our stem cells injected.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield ain't going to cover me for that?
Hey, you know what? You laugh, but with what's happening in healthcare, with all the big pharmacies actually moving, everybody being bought by healthcare providers, and, they're talking about, you're going to go into CVS and get your healthcare or Walgreens or Walmart, whoever. It could happen. You could walk in the door and go into a still sentiment lab, and they pull out your blood, and please have a seat right there, and they go and put it in its thing.
Spin it and
bring you back and say, Frank, your stem cells are ready. How's that knee? Oh, it's poop. Hey, I feel pretty good. I think I'm going to go dunk a basketball this afternoon.
Why not, right?
129 miles an hour.
Yeah. That's just
bad knees, back, ankle.
That's just nuts.
Crazy. So,
that is crazy.
Anyway, we talked enough about Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned how, you have a lot of these players, that are so good early and young, they eventually they find a spouse and they start a family and everything else. Well, Sergio Garcia.
Oh, boy. Your buddy.
Yep. And his wife, Angela.
Yep.
Welcomed a daughter into the world today.
Was that a surprise?
No.
You knew that?
Yeah.
I didn't know she was pregnant.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Their daughter.
We like to keep really close tabs with Sir. We'd like to talk to them all the time.
Their daughter's name is Azalea.
Oh.
Azalea Garcia.
That's very nice.
Very, very cool. So congratulations to my buddy Sergio and his wife Angela.
Okay, so now Sergio has now become my pick for the Masters.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because he named his daughter Azalea.
Yeah.
Which is like
it's the 13th hole at Augusta is called Azalea.
And the flowers are the old. It used to be a nursery and all that stuff. Yeah. And there's always a tie-in.
It seems to be
to a major.
Oh yeah.
Of something happened in someone's life that isn't part of golf. You know. Davis Love and Father's Day with his dad passing away,
and
John Daly
and the rainbow
and the rainbow. Yeah, I mean it's on and on. I mean there's story after story, and there's a couple really good reads about that stuff. But that's the kind of stuff where his daughter was born. He's probably so excited.
Oh yeah.
He's probably he named her Azalea. You don't think the idea of the Masters was in his? When you name your daughter Azalea, you got to be thinking about the Masters, right?
Yeah,
you have to. So wouldn't that be a cool victory for him?
That would be cool. That would be neat. I'd like to see him repeat.
Yeah.
Hey, that'd work for me.
Yeah. Just on another level.
Yeah. We'll take another break.
Okay.
772-220-9788. Give us a call.
Very tough
a little bit.
Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here. I believe that's a kraken, Bruce. It looks like he's going to go with the 9-iron. That may not be enough club. Well, he's definitely going to lose his stroke on this hole.
And we're back on the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition.
Hump day.
You were mentioning
Hump day.
You were mentioning, Tiger Woods not hitting driver off the tee so much this past week. He replaced his TaylorMade M3 wood with a TaylorMade RSI UDI driving iron.
Oh, that's what he was hitting then. That makes sense.
That's what he was hitting.
That thing's a monster. He's, I'm thinking he's hitting 2 iron like 280.
He continues to use his unbranded Nike irons with his, Tiger Woods logo on them. So he's still using, his old set iron. Well, why not? I mean,
go with what works.
You're comfortable with it. He certainly knows. He
certainly knows how to play.
It's
okay. They don't care.
Yeah, really. So that's interesting. He's still using Nike wedges. So.
I hope that he does not. Well, if somebody's going to offer him a lot of money again.
Well, TaylorMade is paying him to play their woods, and I guarantee you they want to eventually transition him into their irons. I don't see him changing anytime soon, especially if he continues to play well. And you certainly don't want an equipment change of that magnitude before the Masters.
No, and especially and again, we know what happens. I have you ever heard of any tour player that has switched brands, right? That came out and played great.
And came on to play, no.
Have
Most
ever,
of them go the other way.
No, I'm serious. Yeah. I have never, ever heard, and if I'm wrong, you're listening, call and remind me, but I have never heard of a player switching brands, right?
Yeah.
And coming back stronger. I think it's a year.
Yeah.
And people go, how can that be?
Well,
it just is.
Remember McIlroy at the top
Same
of his
thing.
he switched from
Titleist, right?
Titleist to Nike and kind of struggled. Tiger switched from Titleist to Nike and struggled a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah.
In fact, he was actually playing Titleist irons that had the logo ground off of them.
And you think
so that you couldn't tell they weren't Nikes.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of just made it blanked it.
Yeah, they kind of blanked it out.
But again, isn't it amazing that this part always fascinated me, and I know people who listen have to be if you care, but so you take an iron head, right? They're forging or making the club identical, same weight, same grind, same line, same cutaways, same shaft, same furrow, same grip. I mean, it's an exact replica. We're not talking close. We're talking exact.
Yeah.
And they don't play it as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's because when you play golf, there's so much feel and so much touch and so much time that you have to put in to be able to play well, and it always just boggles my mind on how long it takes a really good player to adjust.
Yeah.
You think it wouldn't take that. Now, drivers, they've sort of been able to switch drivers on guys a little quicker, don't you think? Like it seems like they've been flipping drivers a lot.
Yeah, they tend to do that a lot. In fact, some of them, watching them at the Honda get ready for the whole Florida swing.
2 weeks ago.
They wanted something that carried a little further because they were like, we're not going to get the roll in Florida that we get
somewhere else,
out in California or in the desert.
Oh, no.
We're not going to get the roll there. So we want something that we can carry a little further and maybe ride the wind or, take advantage of that versus keep it under the wind and let it run. Mm-hmm. So, they switch. They seem to switch drivers more often than anything else.
Well, and that goes back to this thing about how golf is such a game of so many details and tiny little things that make so much difference, which makes it fascinating. It also makes it frustrating for a lot of people. And I always forget too. If anybody's listening, you got a question, a tip, ask a question about your own golf game. I'm here to help you. So don't be afraid to call in. We always like to hear people call in. So.
The going into the final round in Tampa was a young man named Corey Connors.
Corey Connors. I didn't even pick up that line.
He is a 26-year-old Canadian rookie on the PGA Tour. He led he was atop of the leaderboard after the first 3 rounds.
Oh, okay. I did see that name. Yeah.
So here you're kind of okay. Struggled a little bit on Sunday. Shot a final round 77 on Sunday and fell back to a tie for 12th.
77's a big drop for a tour player. That's not a.
But I mean, here you are. This is only his 20th start on a professional tour.
Sure. And he's in the running with Tiger Woods.
And he's in the running with like
Tiger,
I said,
Paul Casey. There's 6 guys.
They said that there were 3 other players who were within one shot of him that had a combined 95 tour wins. You gotta be feeling that a little bit, man.
Oh yeah, and he did a lot.
And he did feel it
and
a little bit.
And he threw up a couple of hockey sticks in reverse, and
yep.
And you call that a day, and he probably cashed a nice check and flew back to Canada and said, "Man, that was awesome."
Yeah, I mean, he actually was he was an alternate to get into this event.
Oh, so there's another story.
I mean, you think about this. I mean, he missed Monday's qualifying by 6 shots.
So he wasn't close.
Monday qualifying, he didn't even play well enough to get in the event.
I wonder what that was. So usually those tournaments, you got to shoot 63, 60.
Oh, yeah, you got to shoot some crazy number.
Right. So
he started the week. He went into the event as the 3rd alternate.
He was 6 shots back and was the 3rd alternate?
Was the 3rd alternate. So somebody must have gone crazy.
Yeah, they must have had a really low number, yeah.
When Kyle Stanley withdrew on Wednesday
bump.
afternoon, he got that. It was his card that came up, and he got in. Made the most of it. I mean, you think about it. Yeah, you finished.
What did he finish? Tied for what?
Tied for 16th with 12 other players.
So he still made $100,000 or a little more than that.
Got a lot of face time. Yeah. Like Gary Koch was saying during the broadcast. Sometimes you learn more from losing than you do from winning.
That's
I mean, he says,
sure.
Here's a kid that, this is his first time in this limelight, his first time leading a tour event, his first time being in the final pairing on a Sunday.
You got to go through it.
And you know what? Next time, you might have a better idea. You'll know what it feels like. Okay, I know what happened. I know what I did. I know what bothered me, what didn't bother me, and hopefully you grow from that. And the next time you close it out.
Oh, that is golf. I mean, that's the whole story.
Yeah.
Get ready.
But I mean, you have Paul Casey, you have Justin Rose, you have Patrick Reed, you have Tiger Woods, all shooting at you while you're on the top of the leaderboard.
That'll slow you down a little bit.
That's a lot of guys coming at you with
Absolutely.
a lot of, like we said, 95 tour wins. That's a lot of pedigree behind the, with the guys that are chasing you, and you're there going, this is only the 20th event I've played in.
Yeah.
These guys combined have more majors than I've got starts.
Can you imagine what Connor, right? You said his last name.
Yeah.
Connors.
Corey Connors.
Corey Connors. What his week was like compared to the week of all those guys with the 95 wins. He's a rookie. He probably didn't get great parking. He probably got the hotel room on the bottom floor. He probably didn't spelled his name wrong on his little plaque on the range. Maybe he was late for breakfast. They ran out of eggs. I mean, who's his caddy? His brother, his girlfriend. Who's his sponsor? Whoever
his home club back
like,
home. That's who's on the bag. And
was it?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah,
and
you kind of feel that way.
Kind of tin cupish, right? Like,
yeah.
I shouldn't even be here. Look who I'm playing for. The Baker Salome.
Oh man,
that is funny. But it's good for him.
Yeah. And you think about it. I mean, Paul Casey goes out and shoots a 65 in the final round. He's you're gonna, like you said, as tough as that course was playing, and when 10 under wins. And you shoot 6 under on Sunday. You've moved past a lot of people.
Beat Tiger by 5. Tiger shot 70, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, and he finished 1 shot ahead.
I'm wondering if Tiger looks back on that day and says, maybe I should have it was Sunday the day that he should have been a little bit more aggressive. But maybe he was just kind of feeling, because he said it's about him controlling the golf ball, feeling the game, getting back into contention.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't feel enough confidence to fire at some of those pins. Because like you said, that's some of those, I
don't think it was the approaches. I think it was just the tee shots.
Off the tee shots. He wasn't as aggressive off the tee as he needed to be to get a club in his hand that he could then fire at a pin. Yeah.
I think Tiger has always struggled. This is going to sound really funny. What did he turn pro with in driver? Do you know what he turned pro with? You remember, Tiger, what his driver was when he first turned pro? You remember?
I do not remember.
Okay, so I do, because it was a King Cobra.
Okay.
It was a King Cobra, and it was just a deep face, and it had an X100, probably tipped an inch or two, steel. and I don't think it was over 43 inches. I mean, what
we normally think of now as a 3 hybrid.
Oh, it was a hammer. And he blew that past everybody, right? And this is my opinion. I don't think you can build a club today with the technology for that kind of speed. I think you almost have to go back and make a club a little bit smaller, a little denser, something that's a lot more rigid. Look, if Tiger can hit a driving iron 280, think about that. I'm telling you, you put him back in something, an 8-degree, thicker head, little bigger. It's like a. That's really what he should play. Will he ever do that? Absolutely not. Why? Because Frank can't go buy it. I mean, Frank's not going to go to the store and say, "Hey, let me get that small, dense head driver that Tiger plays with that double X steel shaft that probably weighs about 50 grams heavier than what's on the market." Because this is just my opinion. I don't think you can build drivers. I'm curious to see. I haven't seen Dustin Johnson's driver specs, but I bet you it's shorter, and I bet you that shaft that's in it's special.
Oh yeah, most of these guys do have. Yeah.
1.2 torque, 1.4 torque. 100 grams. Just something so dense and heavy.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that kind of club hit speed, and because Dustin Johnson has it cupped and delivers it like that. I mean, his swing is the head is right there.
Yeah.
Tiger's moves around a little.
Yeah.
And if Tiger dips or has he's not dipping anymore, which I think is really good.
I think that's the key, I believe.
Yeah. But he still I still think when Tiger goes and gets 129, I didn't see video on it, but I guarantee you there's more movement with his spine. At that when he goes to get the 129, I bet you there's more movement which causes it to go a little crooked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think Tiger, if he shortened up his driver and went back to kind of what he did, if he's really 129, that's like Tiger 22-year-old Tiger.
Oh yeah.
That's fast. Yeah. So we'll see.
One of the best shots of the week came from a guy named Trey Mullenix.
From Mullenix Ford down in West Palm Beach.
Maybe. On the 4th hole Friday, he pulled his tee shot on the par 3 4th hole on Friday. Assumed he would have to take a drop from the hospitality tent that's
right
to the right. That's right next to the green there. Instead, when he got there, he found the ball sitting perfectly in the doorway to go in.
Okay.
Took out a wedge, chipped it over the little white fence to 3 feet from the hole, and made par.
No kidding. Where was that shot? Did you see it?
I saw it. I saw the highlight of that, yeah. I mean.
What a shot, right?
What a shot. I mean, you think about it. They showed him, and I'm like, why are they showing this? I thought it was like one of those little contests you see, where they're showing, some, chip to win a beer or, a hat or something like that. And they showed him chipping it out of there, and it went up on the green and rolled up, and the crowd was going crazy. I'm like, oh, hell, he's a pro. He actually hit it over there.
It's, again, another perfectly timed Tin Cup reference of, right? He's going to take a little hooded 7-iron and knock it off the porta potty and try to roll it on the green. Or it's the one he's in the bar. He's going to take a hooded 4-iron, knock it through the gap, and try to knock the Pelican off of its perch.
Exactly.
So there you were. Last week, it was just like the movie.
Pretty much.
I did not see that. That should have been on George Michael's Sports Machine or whatever.
It should have been because, I mean, like I said, I saw that, and I literally thought it was, some contest going on,
Does anybody have anything like that anymore on TV? Like George Michael had that show where he's like highlight tip. There's nothing really like that.
I don't remember seeing anything like that in a long, long time.
You remember that show?
Yeah, I remember that show.
It was always like everything that crazy that happened in sports.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
So
here's the top 5 stupidest things you missed in sports this week.
Today. Yeah. Somebody should bring that show back. I'll host it.
Yeah.
Call me. Frank, you're my agent. Set it up, Frank.
Guy goes to dunk a basketball and it hits the guy in the head, goes up in the air and goes through the net.
Yeah. That was a great show. And we're going to go to the tape. I got to go see that. That's got to be on YouTube or something. I mean, that's got to be a pretty cool
It's got to be around somewhere.
Yeah.
From what I hear from some friends that went out to Florida Club.
Oh yes, opened this week.
They opened this past weekend, and they said it's just amazing how beautifully conditioned everything is out there.
It's like playing.
Like I said, it's it's been waiting for a while to get some get some new divots in the fairway, and now it has a few, and
I told people
everybody seems to like it.
If you can get out there, I mean, it's you just never get to play a golf course in that condition. You just don't. Yeah. You can't even go to a public course. I mean, a private club and get that condition. It just doesn't happen. So, was it busy? Did they say a lot of people went out?
Yeah, it was pretty busy.
Yeah,
it was very busy.
I mean, it would be. I mean,
I mean, this time of year, everybody's looking for a place to play.
So they said it was awesome, huh?
Yeah, they said it was just incredibly well. It just waiting for somebody to get out there.
Sure.
So
yeah, no divots, no ball marks, perfect bunkers, and the weather's been. It was a perfect weekend to open, right? It wasn't, relatively dry, no bad weather, no washouts.
Yep.
Now we're gonna deal with a little cold and see how that grass does.
Yeah. One other interesting thing that I saw shot wise this weekend was during the Pro-Am at the Valspar. On one of the par threes, they had a little wheel that you spun, and on it had all kinds of different clubs you had to hit. So the pros some of them had, if it landed on driver, they had to hit a driver on this 145-yard hole, or they had to hit a putter, or they had to try to get a lob wedge 145 yards, or any number of different things. It had all the different clubs in the back, which I thought was kind of a pretty cool way to.
That is cool.
Let's see how good you are. Let's make you make a shot in this Pro-Am. So
that is really cool.
Another neat thing that they're doing to kind of make it cool.
That's very cool.
Yep. And that's it for us, folks.
It is. Gosh, that was quick. Fastest hour in all of golf.
Yep. Well, we'll see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to tune into the Bay Hill Invitational.
Good stuff.
See what happens.
I'm going Tiger. Tiger's going to do it.